And then the postcard parties started, which were interesting. There is a woman in Norwell, which I will reach out to her. I hope she'll come on and talk to about the exciting postcard parties. Basically, what would happen is a bunch of people would get together and write postcards for candidates outside of our state. And they were very successful. It seemed to get a big crowd. By this point in the election cycle, we were starting to see our candidates, our local candidates, take up and show. So this is like probably late September when we start seeing the postcard parties start show up. What are your thoughts on postcard parties?
One thing that was done on the Kearney campaign that had a pretty good yield was, dear friend cards. Mm-hmm. So basically, if you have enough supporters, have each of them pick maybe 10 to 20, friends of theirs, people that they know, and write to them and tell them, why you're supporting, the candidate that you're behind, some of the issues that are important to you and you think will appeal to them. And just getting something from somebody that it tends to have like a pretty good yield and a pretty good return on investment, and it definitely goes a long way.
So we took this at Plymouth County and we had a institutionalized postcard party system. Mm-hmm. We sent, I think, over 5,000 postcards out in Plymouth County for early voting, and we've had a huge explosion of early voting all over the county. Any place we did the postcard parties, we had a huge uptick in the exciting turnout for early voting. So one of the things that I think campaigns should look at is doing things like this, which they're basically dear friend cards, like you said. Yep. But the problem with that I see is that it's one directional. There's no feedback on that. So when you send a postcard out, I think you need to follow up with a phone call or some sort of positive contact to get them to make sure that you have identified them as a one. What are your thoughts on feedback loops as far as with the surveys, as far as recruiting volunteers? What are your thoughts on different ways to get people engaged?
Yeah, I think the follow-up is certainly important because if you're going to send a postcard out, you want to know if it worked or if you're sending that to a now ID'd 1 or 2, or there's still a 3. So follow-up's definitely important. It can kind of be hard to get people to do that sometimes, and I'm guilty of it too, whereas you don't want to feel like you're bothering people or pestering them, so it's hard to get your involved to take that next step and do that follow-up and say, hey, did you get my dear friend card, and what'd you think?
See, I think that would be helpful is if you get the list, then you do the follow-up, and it's just a drive-by, hey, we already reached out to you, and you're contacting them. The change. So one of the things that we did towards the end of the campaign, and it didn't get much traction, which I'm hoping next campaign will have more traction on it, is we did digital postcards. So what we were thinking would be useful is if you create a image of a lawn sign, and then you share it on your Facebook page. And then once you share it on your Facebook page, you track the people that are actually responding to it, liking, sharing, commenting. Because one of the biggest problems that campaigns have is the fact that a like or share or comment isn't actually an ID. Mm-hmm. So what we were thinking, or what I was thinking, is that we'd create these digital postcards and then we'd go in and check who is actually registered to vote and reach out to those individuals, send them an invite to pledge support. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think any tool in the bag that you can use certainly helps.
So do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, okay, sure. So basically, many years ago,